I am Karen Chittister, and I apologize for the really bad video quality, but this is just on my laptop and just the camera that's built in, so it's not HD. But I am doing this video to introduce myself. I am a computer programmer, not currently employed as a computer programmer, other than self-employed, but I'd like to explain why I'm not currently employed. Basically, let me rewind to the past. To start out with, I got my Bachelor of Arts degree from Brigham Young University and a minor in Spanish. And then I worked, for 18 months in human resources before becoming a full-time mom. And here's my family. This was taken a year ago. My daughter is now 14, my son is 19. And then that's my husband, Brian, of 21 years. And the kids have reached a point in their lives where they are independent, and so I wanted to go back to work. And so to do that, I first wanted to do something I really enjoyed, and I found web development. And so I found a program at Salt Lake Community College where I could go to school for just under 2 years and complete my Associate of Science degree. And so I liked the emphasis on web development because I wanted to be able to build websites, and it's a lot of fun. And I already had experience with HTML because as a mom, I blogged, I did a craft blog, and I had my own YouTube channel, and so I thought it would be kind of a good stepping stone into learning web development. And my very first term back was a condensed second half term. That meant that they took a 14-week course and crammed it into 6 weeks. So my very first classes were an introduction to web development with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and an introduction to general programming with an emphasis on Java at the very end of the course. And then my third course was a Linux course. And I got an A in my Linux course, even though I had never worked with any OS in my life. And then, well, other than, as a user of a computer, and then I got A minuses in both of my 2 programming classes. And my second semester at school, I took a PHP class. So I got big, thick textbooks to help me study outside of class. They weren't required for my class, but I like books and I like to read, and I can learn really effectively from books. And so I studied both of those books during my PHP class. And I had never learned the fundamentals of programming yet, so it was quite a challenge for me to learn programming with the PHP course, but at the same time I was taking a fundamentals of programming in Java class, object-oriented programming, and I was learning about classes, about inheritance, encapsulation, and just fundamentals of Java programming. And at my community college, it was split into 2 courses. So I took the first one at the same time I was learning PHP, and also I learned SQL at the same time. And so with the PHP course, we also got to incorporate MySQL Workbench, and we made an e-commerce site, a simple one. And then after I graduated, my website, my server, it crashed, and I had to rebuild it, and found out that, oh, well, the version of PHP I learned and the version of SQL I learned are outdated, and they've had like 5 or 6 updates since then. So I didn't get it completely up to speed, because to do so, I would have to have purchased my own domain name and then also paid for the SSL certificate to keep my site going. And there's a reason why I chose not to do that I'll get to in a minute. My third semester at Slick, I had 3 courses that I signed up for. An introduction to networking fundamentals, and the second Java fundamentals course. And then the third class was a advanced JavaScript and JSP class, which about a week into it, I thought, I really want to understand the fundamentals before I jump into advanced. I could do it, but it's a stretch. And so I chose to drop the intro to networking as well as the advanced JavaScript course. And I was feeling kind of tired and I didn't really know why. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I'm just doing too much. So I'm just going to focus on Java. And then I got a bunch of books to help me really understand Java. I got this Java programming book, and yes, read the whole thing and studied it. And I got this Core Java for the Impatient. And I also got this Java Core Fundamentals to help me. And then I didn't know if Java developers need to be certified through Oracle. So just in case, I got this study guide for the Oracle Java certification. It's just for the SE Programmer Level 1. So I thought, okay, I'll prepare for the future by taking these courses and studying these books to really help me understand how to program and how to do Java. And 3 months into the course, and this is after I had dropped the 2, I had been to a doctor to see, because I knew something wasn't quite right. And I discovered that at that point, a month before finals, that I had breast cancer. And so I began having a lot of doctor appointments, and I went ahead and completed my final course project. It was a team project, and I worked with Chris Phillips, and we made a Java game of life based on John Horton Conway's Game of Life, which was really appropriate at the time because it's about the growth of cells and the death of cells, and that seemed to be very appropriate timing for going through cancer. And so this isn't like a sob story to say, oh, woe is me, I got cancer. But the point I want to make is cancer actually made me a better programmer, and how it did. And to start with, I went ahead and completed the course. We were asked to present our project to a special group night event that the programming department had at Slick, and we were able to showcase what we did, and it was really fun. And I actually used these great big books and examples that I found in them to learn how to program some of the features that we put in our program that we hadn't learned about in class. And so it was really fun to just write our own program from scratch, come up with our own classes, come up with our own design, and it was great. And it also helped me to be a better cancer patient because programming taught me to break down a very large program into smaller pieces. And that's exactly what my team of doctors did with the cancer. I had one surgeon who removed the cancer. I had a second surgeon who started the reconstruction process. I had a geneticist who tested me to see if there were any genetic risk factors for cancer. And I had just my regular doctor to kind of, keep up to date on things with my health and how I was doing. And then I also had an oncologist to determine what treatments I would need based on the genetic test that they actually did on the cancer cells to know how to target the best treatment, which was fascinating actually to me. So it helped me to focus on something. Programming helped me to focus on something besides cancer, but it also helped me learn to be patient and take the big thing, which is cancer, and break it down into the smaller pieces to beat it and to overcome it. Because programmers, they do that all the time. They work as a team and break really large-scale issues down into small, manageable ones. And so it was a great thing, because when I was going through my average of 1 to 3 doctor appointments a week for that first year, and 3 surgeries in 10 months, and when each surgery had a 3-week recovery time, and I had to wait 3 to 4 months between surgeries, I determined at that point, even though I had graduated, oh, let me back up a little bit. So I had one class left after that Java course. I found out I had only one course left to graduate. And so I did the mastectomy and, started with meeting the oncologist and everything. And I got a phone call from the community college saying that there was a grant available to me that I could take my final course or courses, and I only had one left. So I could take my final course for free and just pay my student fees, which was $90, which is a great deal. And but I'd have to sign up during that summer semester, which was a week or two after my surgery, my mastectomy. So I went for it. I'm like, hey, why not? And so I signed up for the advanced JavaScript class, and we didn't cover JSP, but we covered JSON, and we covered jQuery. And so I took the course, and I finished in August of 2016. And I did graduate, and my intention had been to apply, just before I graduated. But I was finding myself making life decisions on the reconstruction and cancer treatment. And so I needed to focus all my energies on getting healthy and beating cancer. And so that's what I did. And so my job was to eat healthy and continue to exercise 6 days a week, because that's what I did even before I had the cancer. And it didn't prevent me from getting cancer, but it did, I believe, help a lot in my recovery. And it also helped me to be able to recover, and it helped me to be able to just kind of keep going, just kind of plow through it. And I was just gonna, that's what I was gonna tell you. It gave me the opportunity to really digest and absorb all the programming information and languages that I had been learning in such a short amount of time. And so this is a book that I had purchased for my last course that we didn't end up covering JSP and Spring MVC. So what I did after I graduated, I found a course on Udemy, and I took a Spring Hibernate Java course on Udemy so I could learn it. But this is a good reference for me. And then I also got this algorithms course, and Coursera has a course, a 24/20 class on algorithms, and I actually started taking the course. Didn't finish because I was busy with the surgeries and other things, but it's still on the burner, it's still in the works. And then I also got this book on JavaScript and jQuery, and I started working on projects with that. And my server crashed, and so then I had to rebuild it. So I took a Udemy course on Amazon Web Services, and I learned how to rebuild my server. We had built a server in my very first 6-week block of classes, but I had so much coming at me so fast, so much new information. It was like drinking from a fire hose. So I didn't quite absorb how to do it. So taking the Amazon Web Services classes helped me to really process what I had learned. And it ended up being a really good thing for me to go through the cancer and have that year delay, because I could practice what I had been learning in school, and I could really absorb it before I moved forward. And I think it really helped build my confidence in how to program, because I got to practice on my own. And so on my own, I was teaching a group of children in my church. It was they call it the primary, and I was doing what they call the sharing time, where we teach the whole group of youth from ages 3 to age 12. And so I was gonna do a memory game for them. And in the olden days, before I learned programming, I would get pictures and make my own visual aids and put them up on the whiteboard with magnets. But then it came to me, well, hey, I'm a programmer. I can write a program that's a memory game, and I can project it to the screen, and the kids can come and play the game. And so that's what I did. And so I actually at first wasn't sure how to write the program. It had been 3 months since I had really seriously looked at programming, because I was busy with surgeries and cancer treatments. But I looked online, and I found some examples of memory games. And I found a couple that looked kind of similar to what I wanted to accomplish. And so I played around with the code. It didn't work, didn't compile, had a lot of errors. And so I just I picked the example that was the closest to what I wanted, and I whittled it down and worked through how to make it into a memory game that would work and that would compile. And I got it going. And that's when I knew, hey, I really am a programmer, because I can sit down and I can take code that doesn't work and I can make it work, or I can write new code from scratch, or I can look online and find new solutions for a programming issue. So I did make that program, and I added my own modifications to it because I wanted a concentration game at the end. And so for the second panel, I didn't have to look online how to do it because I knew how to do it. But the memory portion needed a little reviewing to help me get going on it. So that's basically what I have done. Since I graduated, I finished going to my multiple doctor visits, and I'm down to just the normal, annual checkups that most people have, in addition to some follow-ups twice a year with my oncologist. And I'm back to just going to the gym and working out and doing what I was doing before. And I'm also taking some additional classes on Udemy right now. I decided to get this book to help me support my learning of MongoDB and Node.js, because it's kind of fun, because learning more than one language, once you know the concepts, they just sort of build on each other and strengthen your understanding of each one. And I've been asked, well, what's your favorite programming language? And honestly, it depends on what I'm doing. Because like with power tools, I like compound miter saws and I like drills. But if I'm cutting wood, I'm going to use a compound miter saw. And if I'm making a hole in a piece of wood, I'm going to use a drill. And it's the same thing with programming languages. I'm going to choose the tool that works the best for the project I'm doing. And that's kind of what I wanted to say about programming languages. Most comfortable, I guess, if there's a language I'm most comfortable with, I would probably have to say Java, because I have written the most original code in Java. But I'm also comfortable using JavaScript, ES6, and PHP. I've used them all. So, and I'm not afraid to learn a new one and use it. It just depends on what I'm doing, what application there is. Because some things are a lot more quick and efficient with ES6 and JavaScript, and others are more reliable and stable with Java. Java is obviously server-side, PHP is server-side, but it can also go client-side. And then Node would be like the server-side version of JavaScript. So I really like them all. I can't really say, oh, this is the one, because I like different things about each one. And my husband's nickname for me is Adventure Girl, because I enjoy trying new things. And after my second surgery, we went on a trip to Hawaii to celebrate our 20th anniversary, and we went ziplining at a ranch, Kailua. I can't pronounce it. Kailua Ranch. I want to say that's how you say it, but it's a beautiful, beautiful place. They've filmed a lot of movies there. I think some of the Jurassic Park movies, and 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Really funny. In fact, we drove along the scene where in the movie the car breaks down and then she chases after Adam Sandler's friend with like a baseball bat and goes after him. And it was just so much fun to see it live. And then to go ziplining. I mean, that's amazing. I love ziplining. It's so much fun. And then I also like to hike, and I like to be outside and explore. And I love how with programming, I have the opportunity to explore. Well, usually it's indoors, but I get to connect with the whole world. And I get to, some of my best programming ideas come when I'm out walking or moving around and just enjoying life. And so that's a little bit about me. And If you have any questions, feel free to post. Thanks for watching.